In a story few could have foreseen, yesterday Apple was forced to lobotomize its game-changing new AI feature that summarizes the news, because it's been hallucinating world events that never actually happened. Like, did you hear Netanyahu was arrested, or Juicy Smollett's conviction was overturned, or that there's poo in your underwear? Two of those stories are not actually true, but if you have an iPhone, you might be consuming artificial misinformation. The issue became so bad that a mainstream reporter from the Washington Post said it's wildly irresponsible that Apple doesn't turn off summaries for the news app until it gets a bit better at this AI thing. Apple actually listened and is temporarily turning off news summaries, and in the future will put a disclaimer on every notification that it may contain errors. I'm dumbfounded that Apple Intelligence is not all that smart, but it's not even close to the stupidest thing going on in tech right now. And by the end of this video, you might think we're entering a singularity of stupidity. It is January 18th, 2025, and you're watching The Code Report. Apple Intelligence, not to be confused with artificial intelligence, is an incredibly innovative and perfectly balanced product. In fact, it's so good that there's now a subreddit dedicated to Apple Intelligence fails. One thing it tries to do is read your text messages and summarize them. It's rarely useful, but on the bright side, when it gets things wrong, it can be pretty hilarious. Like when you find out you have multiple emergencies like a house break-in, a fire, and a lost Fortnite match. But it also summarizes the news, and that's how I learned that tech bros are being overthrown by minority coalitions. To be fair though, Apple Intelligence is self-aware and can recognize a poorly executed feature. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for tech bro mogul Mark Zuckerberg. People freaked out last week when he said they're building AI mid-level engineers, and then a couple days ago he put his money where his mouth is and laid off the bottom 5% of low performers at Meta. And in a leaked internal memo, it said they're looking at an intense year ahead. Call me crazy, but I don't trust this guy. Disclaimer, the clip I'm about to show you is hard to watch, where Mark Zuckerberg is accused of lying about his bow hunting skills to look cool in front of Joe Rogan.
What kind of bow do you have?
Gosh, I didn't get to do it this season, but
do you know the company that makes it?
not off the top of my head. I have a few.
You have to know.
Yeah, no, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Did you get someone to coach you?
Yeah.
Who coached you?
It's basically a bunch of the guys who help run security around the ranch.
Okay.
Yeah.
As awkward as that was, maybe he's
Chat, guys, am I done with this overanalyzed clip? I don't get it. This is like a nothing burger. So guys, it's like guys, if I went snowboarding once a year, 2 years in a row, and on the third year I don't go snowboarding, and the guy says, "Yo, do you know what kind of brand your snowboard is?" I mean, dude, you gotta know. I'm like, no, not top of my head or whatever, not top of my head. And you're like, dude, is this guy lying? Is he just trying to look cool? Well, no, really, it's you don't do it often. It is what it is. Like,
yeah.
Who coached?
What?
Top of my head.
Do you know the company that makes it?
Not off the top of my head. I have a few.
You have to know.
Yeah, no, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Did you get someone to coach you?
Yeah.
Who coached you?
It's basically a bunch of the guys who help run.
Guys, if you went to the gun range only twice in 5 years, chat, what gun brand was it? Was it a Smith & Wesson, chat? Was it a fucking, what was it? You probably don't remember.
On security around the ranch.
Okay.
Yeah.
As awkward as that was, maybe he's not lying, but even if he does replace all mid-level engineers with AI, you can still work for a different tech billionaire named Elon Musk who's looking for human engineers. And no degree is required, just show him the code. I'm looking for a job myself, so I sent him my code on localhost 8080. I haven't heard anything back yet, so wish me luck. Elon has had an interesting week. Over 200,000 Teslas were recalled for rear-view camera issues, but Elon's most embarrassing fail this week was that he was called out by streamer Asmongold for not being as good as he says he is at video games.
There's no way he played that account.
You see, Elon is one of the top-ranked players in the world at Path of Exile, and also Diablo 4. But according to experts of this game, this account is highly sus, and very likely a boosted account where Elon pays someone to level up in the game for him. After Asmongold streamed about this and brought attention to the situation, Elon then got really mad and took away his blue checkmark, and then leaked their private DMs. It's an incredibly petty and stupid situation, so let's get back to something serious like AI. One of the big tech CEOs that I hate the least is Satya Nadella. He transformed Microsoft from a company that virtually every developer hated into a company that now no developer can avoid, with tools like VS Code, GitHub, and so on. But now they're shifting focus and formed a new division called Core AI, where the purpose is to create AI agents, which they expect to be a bigger paradigm shift than GUIs, internet servers, or cloud-native databases. Speaking of agents, Amazon has also been desperately trying to get agents implemented into its Alexa spy device, but the darn thing just keeps hallucinating. Amazon wanted to launch this thing back in October, but it's still delayed to this day. But if you made the mistake of opening following Twitter recently, you'll notice there's all kinds of vague hype coming out of OpenAI around artificial superintelligence. There's like this mass delusion among tech bros that artificial superintelligence is about to come, and that's despite the fact that all of OpenAI's recent launches, like Sora and O1, have been largely buggy and disappointing. If they had anything close to an AGI, let alone an ASI, they wouldn't need all these job listings for software engineers. Artificial superintelligence will never come, and I'm willing to die on that hill because if I'm right, I'm right, and if I'm wrong, we'll all be dead anyway. There is one new product that came out yesterday, though, that decided not to go the AI route, and that's the Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo released a trailer for it yesterday, and while many Nintendo fans are excited, shareholders are not impressed, and the stock dropped after the launch. It appears the Switch 2 is not going to be some revolutionary new product, but really just more of the same with some much needed better hardware. But another massive failure in tech this week is TikTok. If ByteDance doesn't sell TikTok by Sunday, January 19th, it'll be banned in the
Okay, I'll buy it. Whatever. Okay, I finally said chat. Whatever. Alright. Everybody seems to be wanting this bullshit. I'll buy it.
United States, and you could go to jail for using it. American TikTok users are already posting their heartfelt goodbye videos. What's most hilarious, though, is that many are learning Mandarin so they can go use the Chinese alternative app RedNote. But sadly, what they're finding is that the Chinese don't even want these refugees. This has been the Code Report. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
I am not poor. I can buy this.
Yesterday, the CEO of Sonos, Patrick Spence, who had been the fearless leader of the company for over a decade, resigned after setting the Guinness Book World Record for the most disastrous app launch of all time. During his reign, the company grew from almost nothing to a multi-billion-dollar manufacturer of wireless headphones and speakers. The hardware is so great that people are willing to shell out $500 just to listen to carbon-based lifeforms in its full sonic glory. Things were going great until a few months ago when all that
carbon-based lifeform is fucking insane, though.
Carbon-based lifeform.
That is a fantastic release, though.
In its full sonic glory. Things were going great until a few months ago when all that brand goodwill was flushed down the toilet because they decided to completely rewrite their mobile app in Flutter and release it in a half-baked state, which ended up costing the company hundreds of millions of dollars and the CEO his job. First day on the job, the new CEO comes in and immediately fires the chief product officer. And that comes after rumors that Sonos executives had completely ignored warnings from software engineers, which almost never ends well. It is January 15th, 2025, and you're watching the Code Report. But first, I need to get something off my chest. Even though smartphones stopped making headphone jacks many years ago, I still prefer to raw dongle my headphones straight into the USB slot. One reason I like—
Dude. I still do this. Guys, I still plug in. Guys, I love technology, okay? And I still don't do it wireless. I have only wired. I got two on my left.
That is because there's no stupid app to download just to make the hardware work. But that's just like my opinion, man. Sonos and Patrick Spence deserve a lot of credit for commoditizing the headphone and speaker market. But one problem with the business model is that once the market's saturated, it's hard to continuously extract money from the customers. As a tech company, Sonos wanted to build a platform with software and apps that controls everything that makes sound. A good idea in theory, but the execution was terrible. They pushed an app update a few months ago that was supposed to improve the user experience, but instead it rendered everybody's existing products useless and removed many of the basic features that people expected. Like if you had multiple speakers connected together, you would have to adjust the volume for each one individually instead of adjusting them all simultaneously. The internet started freaking out and it received a flood of bad reviews on the App Store. The bad reviews were so bad that it appears Apple had to step in and remove them. A few days later, the CEO then had to do the walk of shame with a YouTube apology.
We're fixing the app as fast as we can, and we're making great progress. But that's not nearly enough.
He made the smart move to keep comments turned off, and was right, the apology is not nearly enough. He lost his job, and they're only giving him $1.8 million in severance, which is a sad amount for a CEO that built a billion-dollar company. But how did this happen from a technical perspective? Well, the haters are going to say it's Flutter's fault. They should have only used native code and never messed with any cross-platform garbage. But in reality, Sonos was an early adopter of Flutter back in 2020, and the app everybody loved was also written in Flutter. It appears the bigger problem is that the new app relied more on cloud services.
Guys, if you guys say one point, you being rude, okay, chat? Guys, for what he's built, only that much. Guys, imagine what you would be getting if there wasn't laws to protect you against that shit, okay? For what you've built for the company you were maybe lost your job from. It'd be in the fucking pennies. Hey, let's give it a buck. Hey, let's give it a buck. It would be in the fucking pennies. It'd probably be under $1.
Services over the network, as opposed to just connecting to the speakers locally. This might be required to build a truly smart speaker system, but when they released the new app, they failed to test and stabilize all its new features, and it resulted in all kinds of connection issues for customers. But once again, this is not an issue of incompetent engineers, but more an issue of corporate executives trying to push out a product before it's ready. Here's what a Sonos engineer said in his own words.
con el bañado y con la paella. El cocinero. No vea, a Sevilla. Y al último que cuando ya salió la bien de regla.
Luckily, though, technical issues like this will be a thing of the past, because according to Mark Zuckerberg on his Joe Rogan interview, Meta expects to have AI-powered mid-level engineers by the end of 2025. That could be bad news for programmers, but Zuckerberg recently had even worse news for its army of fact-checkers. And Harry and Meghan are absolutely...
Dude, look how locked in he is, chat. Guys, I'm almost kind of jealous. Dude, this brother is so locked in. I have rarely seen that.
But
Holy
Zuckerberg
shit.
recently had even worse news for its army of fact-checkers. And Harry and Meghan are absolutely furious. Zuck is getting rid of fact-checkers and replacing them with an X-style community note system. That's a much better approach, but why has Zuck suddenly become a free speech champion? It might have something to do with the fact that Meta has ongoing legal battles with the Department of Justice, or maybe it's the fact that Trump once threatened to throw Zuckerbucks in jail. And now he's doing the best he can to play the victim. But I might also go to jail myself because I've been using the trademark JavaScript logo in my videos. What you may not realize is that the JavaScript logo is owned by Oracle, and recently the team behind Dino asked them to voluntarily withdraw their trademark so that it can be used freely by the community. Well, Oracle was like, nah bro, and now they're entering a legal battle where they'll start the discovery process to show how JavaScript is a widely recognized and generic term that falls outside the scope of Oracle, but it might take years before they actually resolve this dispute. There's a lot going on in the world today for developers, and if you want to keep up on it, you should be going to daily.dev on the daily. It's a complete...
Got it.
xQcL.
Guys, obviously, I didn't really understand anything in this video. I'm not gonna front it.
Can I get a welcome to the jungle, Mr. Cow?
I don't know what the fuck I just watched.
32 months, wow. My boyfriend doesn't like the fact that I watch you. Do I dump him? Lol xQcL.
No, don't dump him. Don't do that.
Hi xQc is Peso Pluma the goat.